Good morning, students. Once again, you're all welcome to SBR online classes. Yesterday we have discussed about introduction, nomenclature of halogen compounds, and yesterday I have stopped the class after mentioning two compounds, two halogen substituted compounds. One compound was DDT. I have asked to mention its IUPAC name DDT. The structure of DDT, yesterday I already have mentioned about this. The structure of DDT, this is chlorine, it is chlorine, carbon, chlorine, 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 and here it's hydrogen. So this is the structure of DDT compound. Now the IUPAC name. Longest chain in this compound, this is the number 1 carbon atom, this is the number 2 carbon atom. So on first carbon atom there are 3 chlorine atoms. So it's 1, 1, 1. It's trichloro. 1, 1, 1 trichloro. Next one 2, 2. On second carbon atom, this is the one particular moiety. It is another particular moiety. It is called as chlorophenol. That is here chlorine atom is present on the fourth carbon atom. Here also it is present on the fourth carbon atom. So these two groups are found to be very similar. Hence 2, 2 it is bis. Bis should be used when two similar groups are present in the molecule. And if three similar groups are present, instead of bis we have to go with another particular prefix that is called as a tris. Like that. For two similar groups we are using the bis, and it is 4-chloro. Why it is called as 4-chlorophenyl? So this particular group is called as 4-chlorophenyl. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is also 1, 2, 3, 4. 4-chlorophenyl. Once again 1, 1, 1 trichloro because of these three chlorine atom. It's 2, 2 bis. Next one 4-chlorophenyl. It is 4-chlorophenyl. This is 4-chlorophenyl. And the whole molecule longest chain consists of only 2 carbon atoms, so it is ethane. Only 2 carbon atom in the longest chain, so it is going to be ethane. So it is 1, 1, 1 trichloro, 2, 2 bis, 4-chlorophenyl ethane. This is the complete IUPAC name of this molecule. It is DDT. But the long form of DDT is, yesterday I mentioned about that dichloro diphenyl trichloroethane compound. And yesterday I have mentioned about one more halogenated compound in the form of a cube. Now yesterday I asked to write the IUPAC name. Some students have commented about this compound, but most of the students are not come across with this particular compound. It's chlorine, chlorine, this is chlorine, 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 and it's chlorine, chlorine. This is also chlorine. At this position also there is chlorine. So totally how many chlorine atoms are present here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 chlorine atoms are present. So very simple. Its name is going to be octachloro. Why it is called as octachloro? Because of the presence of 8 chlorine atoms. Octachloro, and this compound is in the form of cube, so it is commonly known as cubene. So the name of this simple compound is going to be octachlorocubene. So yesterday I have mentioned about structure of these two compounds, and I asked to comment about the IUPAC name of these compounds. Some students have mentioned about the correct IUPAC name of DDT, but most of the students have not come across with this particular correct IUPAC name of this octachlorocubene. And last, one more compound just I'll mention, one more compound. This is chlorine, it is chlorine, this is chlorine, and this one is going to be chlorine. So what's the correct IUPAC name of this compound also? In first PUC, at the time of studying nomenclature, we have discussed about the nomenclature of this compound. So this is commonly it is in our local, this one it is commonly known as swastik. So what is the IUPAC name of this one? It is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Here no any other particular functional groups or different groups are going to be present. So this group is called as ethyl, this is also called as ethyl. So its IUPAC name is going to be 3, 3 diethyl pentane. But here at each particular corner there is a presence of chlorine atom. So how to write IUPAC name of this compound? Here you can start the numbering. The particular chain at this carbon atom, this is number 1, or you can take number 1 here, or you can start with this one, or you can even start with this carbon atom also. If you consider this is the first carbon atom, this should be the second one, and third one either this one or this one or this one, so I will go with this particular carbon atom. 1, 2, 3, totally 3 carbon atoms are present in the longest chain. So when 3 carbon atoms are present in the longest chain, on first carbon atom and third carbon atom there is a presence of chlorine atom. So first I will write 1, 3, it's dichloro. 1, 3 dichloro first. Next one, on second carbon atom, this is the one particular group and this is another particular group. So as similar in case of DDT structure, here also we have to consider same groups are present and both the groups are also present on the second carbon atom. So 2, 2, again it is bis. Bis should be used when similar groups are present on the particular carbon atom. Bis. What is the name of this group? Here it was called as chloromethyl, that is 4-chlorophenyl. And what is the name of this particular substituent? Chlorine with CH2 group, it is called as chloromethyl. This group is referred to as chloromethyl. Methyl is mainly because of the presence of single carbon atom. So 1, 3 dichloro is because of these 2 chlorine atoms, and 2, 2 bis is because on second carbon atom 2 similar groups are present. The name of these corresponding group is going to be chloromethyl, and longest chain as we have numbered, it consists of 3 carbon atoms, so it is finally propane. So complete IUPAC name of this compound is 1, 3 dichloro, 2, 2 bis, 2, 2 bis chloromethyl, it's propane. So this is about IUPAC nomenclature of some of the compounds. Similarly, if you consider some of the compounds containing different types of substituents along with the particular group. This is the one cyclic compound, and if you consider this is only this particular group is present, it is called as chlorocyclopentane. But here in addition to that there is a presence of methyl group is present. Whenever methyl group is present, and this is 1, 2, 3, or you can take 1, 2, 3, but here alphabetical order should be followed. So this should be 1, this should be second one, and this one is going to be third one. Now the correct IUPAC name of this compound is going to be 1-chloro-3-methyl cyclopentane. 1-chloro-3-methyl cyclopentane. Suppose whenever the chlorine along with chlorine atom, if there are 2 substituents are present, when 2 substituents are present here we have to follow LSR, that is lowest sum rule. Lowest sum rule should be followed in case of this compound, but here lowest sum rule is not applicable. Here in case of this one, if you take 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3, so this is 1, 2, 3. Suppose if I consider here it is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3. Now if I number the particular carbon chain as here this should be, if it is mentioned as 1 and this is second one and this is going to be third one. According to this one it is 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3. According to this one, this should be followed because this is going to be forming the lowest value. Because of that reason, the particular here alphabetical order is not followed. Its name is going to be, it's 3-chloro 1, 1 dimethyl cyclopentane. So these are the 2 almost similar compound, but we are following different rules to write IUPAC name of these 2 compound. Here alphabetical order should be followed. Here LSR, that is lowest sum rule, is going to be followed. So like that we come across with a number of compounds containing chlorine or bromine or fluorine or iodine. You have to follow all those IUPAC rules to write complete IUPAC name of these compounds. After nomenclature of these organic compounds containing halogens, next thing is about isomerism in case of these compounds. Isomerism. What type of isomerism is exhibited by these halogen derivatives? Isomerism. As you know very well, in case of isomerism, mainly we classify this one into structural isomerism. Structural isomerism. Next one it is stereoisomerism, right? Studied in first year, structural as well as stereoisomerism. Further, in case of structural isomerism, there are different types. First one is known as chain isomerism. Second one is position isomerism. Next one is functional isomerism. Functional isomerism. Fourth one is metamerism. Metamerism. After that, it is ring chain isomerism. Ring chain isomerism. Next one is going to be tautomerism. It is also called as keto-enol isomerism. So these are the 6 different types of structural isomerism. Out of these 6 different types of structural isomerism, these compounds containing halogen are going to exhibit what type of isomerism? These particular compounds can exhibit chain isomerism. There is no problem. I will give some of the examples how these compounds exhibit chain isomerism. Position isomerism is also possible in case of this compound because they differ in the position of the respective functional, that is halogen atom. Functional isomerism. So these compounds never exhibits functional isomerism. Remember, metamerism is also not possible in case of these compounds. Metamerism. These are not showing metamerism is commonly shown by compounds containing, that is oxide, that is especially ethers and ketones. All those compounds exhibit metamerism. Ring chain isomerism is possible in case of these compounds, and again tautomerism is also not possible by these compounds. So out of 6 different structural isomerism, 3 isomerism, chain, position and ring chain is possible in case of these compounds, but functional, metamerism and tautomerism is not observed in case of these compounds. Now, I will give some example for chain isomerism exhibited by these compounds. You know what are chain isomers? The compounds which are having same molecular formula but differ in the carbons chain or carbon skeleton. If I go with one compound CH3, this is CH2, next one CH2, CH2 and it is Cl. Its chain isomer is going to be CH3, this is CH, next one CH3 and CH, totally 4 carbon atoms are there, this is CH2 and this is going to be Cl. Now here only 4 carbon atoms are present in straight chain. Here these corresponding carbon atoms are present in branch chain. So these two are the example for chain isomers. Like that, number of examples can be mentioned under this chain isomerism. Next, these compounds also exhibit position isomerism. Commonly, all halogenated derivatives are exhibiting position isomerism. You know what is the meaning of position isomerism? 2 or more compounds having same molecular formula, same functional group and differ in the position of the functional group. Only position of the functional group is going to be different. CH2, CH2, Cl. What's the name of this compound? It's 1-chloropropane and its position isomer is said to be, it is CH3Cl. It is 1-chloropropane, it is called as 2-chloropropane. It is normally N-propyl chloride, it is called as isopropyl chloride. Here chlorine atom is present on the first carbon atom, here chlorine atom is present on the second carbon atom. So these two are the example for position isomer. Like that, number of examples we can mention under position isomerism. As I mentioned, functional isomerism is not possible. In case of these compounds, metamerism is also not possible. Ring chain isomerism. Ring chain isomerism is possible, especially common compounds which exhibit ring chain isomerism is going to be alkenes and cycloalkenes. Here also we can consider this ring chain isomerism with respect to haloalkenes. Ring chain isomerism. Suppose if I go with one example CH2, this is CH, next one CH2, this is CH2, this is Cl. This is the one compound containing double bond with the halogen atom. The ring chain isomerism of this particular compound is going to be, it is Cl. It is chlorocyclobutane, that is a compound, and these two compounds, if you consider, this is also having 4 carbon atom, 1 chlorine, 1 chlorine. What's the number of hydrogen atom? 2, 3 plus 4, 7. Here 2, 2, 2, 6 plus 1, 7. So both are having same molecular formula, but one is in chain structure, another is going to be in ring format. So these two are going to be the example for ring chain isomerism. So out of 6 different types of structural isomerism, these compounds can exhibit chain isomerism, position isomerism, ring chain isomerism, but remember these halogen substituted compounds do not exhibit functional isomerism, metamerism, after that tautomerism. Now switching on to second type, that is called as stereoisomerism. These compounds containing halogen can exhibit stereoisomerism. You know very well these the types of stereoisomerism. One is going to be geometrical isomerism, geometrical isomerism, that is arising because of the carbon-carbon double bond. Next one is optical isomerism. Geometrical and optical isomerism is also possible in case of these halogen substituted compounds. If I show the geometrical isomers of one particular halogen substituted compound, C double bond C, this is Cl, it is Cl, this is H and this is H. And next one, this is C double bond C, this is Cl, this is Cl, this is H and this is going to be H. Now you can identify these two are the geometrical isomers of compound, that is the IUPAC name of this compound is said to be 1,2 dichloroethene compound. Now this isomer is generally called as cis and this isomer is known as trans. Now related to this geometrical isomerism, even we have the particular E and Z isomers with respect to these halogen compounds. We'll come to that particular point later on. E and Z isomers. And cis and trans isomer already have mentioned, so these two are the geometrical isomers. Geometrical isomerism is also known as cis and trans isomerism. And here, when similar groups are present on the same side, it is commonly known as cis isomer. When similar groups are present in opposite side, it is commonly known as trans isomerism. So these two are the example for geometrical isomerism. Next, optical isomerism is also possible. Only those compounds which contain one or more chiral or asymmetric carbon atom, those compounds can exhibit optical isomerism. Suppose if I go with one compound CH3C, this is Cl, next one it is going to be H, this is going to be C2H5. Now this is the compound containing asymmetric carbon atom. This carbon atom is referred to be as asymmetric carbon atom. Probably you are not aware of chiral carbon atom or asymmetric carbon atom. In simple, once again we have to discuss about in detail optical isomerism in the same topic we will discuss. But as far as this compound is concerned, why this carbon atom is known as chiral carbon atom? This carbon atom is called as chiral carbon atom because this carbon atom is attached to four different groups: chlorine, hydrogen, ethyl and methyl. When the carbon atom which is connected to four different groups, that carbon atom is commonly called as chiral carbon atom. So such compounds can exhibit optical isomerism. In case of optical isomerism, you are going to be having different type: D isomer, L isomer, even you will come across with R and S configuration also. So totally all the compounds containing, especially wherever the compound is having chiral carbon atom, those compounds can exhibit this particular optical isomerism. So geometrical isomerism is possible in case of these compounds. Optical isomerism is also possible in case of this compound, provided some conditions are going to be mentioned here. Compound contains a double bond or cyclic ring should be there, and different atoms are going to be present on the double bonded carbon atom. That is a condition. And condition applicable to exhibit optical isomerism is the presence of what? Chiral carbon atom. So wherever chiral carbon atoms are present, all those compounds are exhibiting optical isomerism. But even in that case, some exceptions are going to be there. We will discuss about that in detail in optical isomerism of haloalkanes in the next part. So this is about the total isomerism part which is related to halogen derivatives. In addition to this one, even these compounds also exhibit about another particular isomerism. That is, we'll come across Savar's and Newman projection formula, that is conformational isomerism is also exhibited by these halogen derivatives. But as far as board point of view, chain position and corresponding ring chain is going to be there, and geometrical and optical is there. As I mentioned, optical isomerism we need to discuss in detail with respect to these halogen derivatives. Fine. After completion of the isomerism exhibited by these compounds, next one is found to be the methods of preparation of these compounds. Methods of preparation of haloalkanes. First, methods of preparation of haloalkanes. Haloalkanes. What are the different methods for the preparation of haloalkane compounds? Methods for the preparation of haloalkane compounds. There are a number of methods for the preparation of haloalkane compounds. So first we start with very simple compounds, that is from alkanes. Alkanes are converted into alkanoids. Yesterday in introduction class I mentioned very clearly these haloalkanes are the derivatives of alkanes itself. So from these alkanes, if one or more hydrogen atoms are replaced by halogen atom, they form monohaloderivatives, dihaloderivatives, trihaloderivatives as well as tetrahaloderivatives. So it is possible to prepare number of these haloalkane compound from these starting compound, that is going to be alkanes. In this one, first we'll go with a simple example. This is CH4. When CH4 is chlorine gas is passed over methane in presence of diffuse sunlight. When chlorine gas is passed over methane in presence of diffuse sunlight, one hydrogen atom is replaced by this chlorine atom. So CH3Cl plus this is going to be HCl. You know very well this particular reaction takes place through free radical mechanism. In that free radical mechanism, totally 3 steps are there. I said about that one: chain initiation, chain propagation, as well as chain termination step. So this particular reaction proceeds through free radical mechanism, but this particular method is not suitable for the preparation of compounds in the laboratory. So this method is not suitable for the preparation of the compounds in laboratory. It is applicable only for industrial method of preparation. Only in industries it is possible to control the reaction, so it is applicable only industrial method of preparation, but laboratory method of preparation, this method is not applicable because there is a formation of mixture of products. More than one type of compound is possible here. Due to the formation of mixture of products, this method is not suitable for the preparation of the compounds in the laboratory. How a mixture of product is possible? Just you can concentrate. When chlorine gas is passed over methane in presence of diffuse sunlight, it forms CH3Cl minus HCl. I'll write here. Further chlorination is going to be carried out. When further chlorination is carried out, what is the next compound? One more hydrogen atom is replaced by this chlorine atom. That is CH2Cl2. That is dichloromethane. Further reaction takes place in presence of same diffuse sunlight. Next compound possible is CHCl3. Number of hydrogens is going to be slowly decreasing. Number of chlorine atoms are increasing. Further, minus HCl here. Further, if it is chlorinated, final product obtained in case of reaction is going to be CCl4 plus HCl. So in the beginning, the compound has got 4 hydrogen atoms. The final product is containing 4 chlorine atoms. So here this is also an haloalkane. It is also an haloalkane. This is also haloalkane. This one is also referred to be as haloalkane. So when the reaction is unable to control, there is a formation of 4 different types of haloalkanes are possible. Hence, this method is not applicable for the preparation of the compounds in the laboratory, but it can be applicable for industries. So it is monohaloalkane, dihaloalkane, trihaloalkane, and next one is called as tetrahaloalkane. It is methyl chloride. It is methylene chloride common name. First common name methyl chloride, methylene chloride, chloroform, and this is called as carbon tetrachloride. What are the IUPAC names of this one? It is chloromethane. Next one is dichloromethane, trichloromethane, and tetrachloromethane. IUPAC names are going to be quite easier when compared to what the common names of these compounds. So like that, number of compounds can be obtained from particular alkane compounds. I will go with the second example. In second example, if I go with one compound, this is CH3, CH2, CH3. It is a propane. When propane is halogenated in presence of sunlight, how many products are possible? The number of products depends upon the total types of hydrogen atom, primary, secondary, tertiary hydrogen atoms here. One product possible is going to be CH3, CH2, this is CH2 and Cl. What is the name of this compound? 1-chloropropane. One more compound is possible here. This is CH3, next one is CH, next one is going to be CH3, and this is going to be Cl. It is called as 2-chloropropane, and this compound is called as 1-chloropropane. But between these two products, both are going to be formed in this reaction. But between these two products, which is a major product and which is a minor product? The particular major and minor product depending upon the type of the corresponding compound. Here it is going to be secondary carbocation. This is secondary free radical. This is going to be primary. The particular majority of the product is depending upon 3 degree, 2 degree and 1 degree. If the compound is going to be containing 3 degree, it is a major, next one is 2 degree, next one is going to be 1 degree. So naturally this will be the major product and this is going to be the minor product. So the major and minor product depending upon the type of the particular carbon atom in that compound, it is going to be 1 degree carbon atom, it is chlorine is present on 2 degree carbon atom. So this should be the major product and this is going to be the minor product in case of that reaction. Similarly, bromination is also going to be possible, but bromination of a particular compound depending upon reactivity order. The reactivity order, reactivity and one more thing, that is going to be selectivity. Reactivity and selectivity of a particular halogen atom. Reactivity and selectivity, try to understand this one. Reactivity and selectivity are opposite to each other. If the reagent is going to be more reactive, then it must be less selective. And similarly, if the compound is, if the reagent is going to be more selective, it must be less reactive in nature. So the reactivity and selectivity are inversely proportional to each other. Reactivity is inversely proportional to what? The selectivity order of a particular reagent. If the particular reagent is going to be substrate molecule is going to be more reactive in nature, it must be less selective. If it is going to be more selective in nature, it must be less reactive in nature. So we can give some example here. Suppose if I go with the fluorine, next one chlorine, next one bromine, next one is going to be iodine. These are the 4 halogen molecules. Halogen molecules, what we have to prepare the halogen derivatives. If we consider which one is going to be more reactive or which one is going to be more selective. So there will be less reactivity, less selective. Once if we identify reactivity, we can identify the selectivity of the particular reagent. Out of these 4 halogens, between fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine, you know very well, fluorine is going to be most electronegative in nature. Fluorine reactivity is going to be very high. The reactivity of fluorine is going to be far greater when compared to reactivity of chlorine. Chlorine is again more reactive than bromine atom, and bromine is going to be more reactive compared to corresponding iodine. When the reactivity of fluorine is going to be maximum, when reactivity of fluorine is going to be maximum, it is going to be less selective in nature. Similarly, iodine is a corresponding atom, iodine is a particular substance. This is going to be less reactive in nature. This particular substance is going to be more reactive. When it is more reactive, it should be less selective. This is going to be less reactive. When it is going to be less reactive, then it must be more selective in nature. And one more problem related to the halogenated compounds. We have large number of compounds containing chlorine and bromine than this particular fluorine and iodine. Today we are having large number of compounds containing chlorine as well as bromine compared to fluorine as well as iodine. Reason is that fluorine is a more reactive species. When it is going to be more reactive, it is very difficult to control the reaction. And iodine is going to be less reactive, but it is going to be more selective. Less reactive and it is going to be more selective. Less reactive and more selective refers to, if you give an invitation for a particular person to go for the particular dinner or lunch in various hotels. A particular person who is going to be very selective will go to only one hotel and he is going to be only picking up some of the particular dishes. So he is going to be more selective and he is going to be less reactive. Reactivity order is going to be very less, but selective order is going to be very large. But some other particular persons, if you are observing, if you are the particular person is going to be more reactive in nature, he will not identify, he will not look into the particular hotel or particular dish. Whatever the particular food is going to be given to him, he is going to be consuming that food. So he is said to be more reactive, but it is going to be less selective. And usually the particular, generally we mention about the choosy people, choosy. wherever the particular persons are distributed, any particular person is going to be very selective, very choosy, he is said to be more selective and it is going to be less reactive. And what we generally say, the different types of celebrities, if you consider the most of the celebrities are found to be generally considered as more selective than the corresponding reactive. If any particular person is going to be more selective, his reactive nature in case of the corresponding compounds, the particular substance is going to be more selective in nature, it is going to be less reactive in nature. So here more reactive is going to be fluorine, hence it is going to be less selective, but it is going to be less reactive, but it is going to be more selective in nature. Now if you consider fluorine as well as iodine, since it is going to be more negative in nature, its reactivity is going to be very high. Because of that reason it is very difficult to control the reaction, hence we have very few or limited compounds of fluorine. And iodine reaction itself does not take place under normal conditions because it is going to be less reactive in nature. When reaction itself does not take place, the question of selectivity does not rises. So today we are having maximum number of compounds with respect to chlorine as well as bromine, because chlorine and bromine are the particular compound which are found to be reactive in nature but lesser when compared to fluorine, and they are going to be found to be selective in nature but more when compared to corresponding iodine. So we are having maximum number of compounds with respect to chlorine as well as bromine compared to fluorine and iodine. And here between this chlorine and bromine it is very simple. Chlorine is going to be more reactive in nature, bromine is going to be more selective in nature. This is very important point. Chlorine is going to be more reactive in nature and bromine is going to be more selective in nature. The reactivity and corresponding selectivity of this particular one is going to be observed on primary position, secondary position, and this is going to be tertiary position. If you observe the reactivity of this corresponding compounds, so here chlorine is going to be more reactive in nature, bromine is going to be more selective in nature. This is chlorine and this is going to be bromine. The reactivity of this one, selectivity of bromine and chlorine is going to be same on primary position. But if you consider the secondary position of this one, it is going to be 3.8 times. And here same bromine atom, if it is going to be attacking on the secondary one, it is going to be almost 80 times. And if you are observing the attacking of chlorine at tertiary position, it is going to be 5.0. But if you are going to be observing about the selectivity of the compound on this particular tertiary position, it is almost 1600 times. So this chart is going to be very clear how this particular bromine atom is going to be more selective in nature when compared to chlorine atom. So bromine is going to be more selective in nature here compared to chlorine atom, but chlorine is going to be more reactive in nature. And when the question of selectivity comes, we have to take the priority of bromine. When the question of reactivity is going to be observed, chlorine is going to be more reactive because very simple, its electronegativity is much more when compared to bromine atom. So this is a simple selectivity chart applicable for chlorine as well as bromine on primary position, secondary position and tertiary position. Whenever the bromine atom which attacks on the tertiary position, it is going to be, where is the 5.0 and where is 1600 times. 1600 times is going to be far more when compared to this particular fiber. So selectivity of bromine is going to be very high when compared to the corresponding chlorine atom. Even if you consider iodine, selectivity of this particular iodine is going to be found to be maximum, but we are unable to consider because it is found to be less reactive. Reaction itself does not take place. Because of that reason, we won't consider about iodine. It's only because of chlorine as well as bromine. So conclusion of this one, between these particular halogens, chlorine is going to be more reactive in nature and more reactive in nature, less selective in nature. Bromine is going to be less reactive in nature and more selective in nature. So reactivity and selectivity are inversely proportional to each other. So depending upon this one, it is possible to identify different types of products in case of these reactions whenever the question is going to be there related to the preparation of haloalkanes. So the preparation of this particular haloalkanes from the chlorine as well as bromine, already have mentioned about the chlorination. So bromination also takes place in the same manner. bromination. Just I mentioned about the chlorination. Bromination of this particular haloalkanes takes place. Bromination of alkane takes place in the same manner as in case of chlorination. It is just I mentioned same as that of chlorination. Already I have mentioned two examples in case of chlorination. Just you can concentrate on that chlorinations. It is going to be taking place in the same manner. And iodination is also taking place. Iodination also takes place in case of this one. If I go with a particular compound, that is CH4 plus this is I2. When CH4 is going to be treated with I2, this molecule is going to be CH3I plus this is going to be HI. But one thing you have to remember in case of iodination, iodination is a reversible reaction. Iodination of these alkanes is a reversible reaction. This reaction takes place in a reversible manner. Whatever amount of HI is going to be there, this HI is going to be one of the strongest reducing agent. HI is going to be considered as one of the strongest reducing agent. So this HI converts CH3I into again methane plus iodine. In order to carry out the reaction in only forward reaction, we have to add certain amount of oxidizing agents. In order to oxidizing agents must be added in order to carry out the reaction in only forward direction. What are the different types of oxidizing agent? It may be concentrated HiO3, iodic acid, or concentrated HNO3. These particular substances must be added in order to carry out the forward reaction, because this HiO3 is the oxidizing agent which converts this particular HI into, it is iodine plus this is going to be water. So further backward reaction does not take place, it proceeds on only forward reaction. It is if it is carried out in presence of oxidizing agent. If you do not add this particular oxidizing agent, so this reaction is said to be a reversible reaction. So this is about the chlorination of alkanes, bromination of alkanes, and iodination of alkanes. Reaction is going to be in this particular way. You can take any type of alkane, and alkane is going to be converted into alkyl halide, but it is going to be reversible. In order to carry out forward or reaction in forward direction, we have to add certain amount of oxidizing agents, right? Next, after the preparation of these haloalkanes from the alkane compounds, just to remember, in case of alkanes, there is a possibility of getting mixture of products. That is one of the drawback of this particular method. Otherwise, it is going to be considered as one of the best method. And here, remember, it is going to be taking place according to free radical mechanism. Second method of preparation of haloalkane is from alkenes. How to prepare haloalkane from alkene compounds? Alkenes, compounds containing double bond. So there are a number of methods for the preparation of haloalkane from alkene itself. In this particular alkenes, suppose if I go with one simple example, CH3CH double bond CH2, propene is a molecule. When propene is treated with HBr, hydrogen bromide, here this particular reaction takes place, CH3CH, this is going to be Br. In first you see a certain mechanism of this particular reaction also, and this particular reaction takes place according to one important rule, that is Markovnikov's rule. So based on this Markovnikov's rule, this particular reaction takes place. Markovnikov's rule, you know what is the meaning of Markovnikov's rule? Markovnikov's rule states that when an unsymmetrical molecule is added to unsymmetrical alkene, the negative part of the adding molecule adds to the carbon atom having less number of hydrogen atoms and involved in the formation of double bond. The negative part is going to be added to the carbon atom having less number of hydrogen atom, and naturally positive part is going to be added to the carbon atom having more number of hydrogen atom. And this particular reaction follows electrophilic. This reaction follows electrophilic addition reaction. Electrophilic addition reaction. Already I said about this electrophilic addition reaction, so I won't go much in detail about this particular electrophilic addition, because addition of electrophile, that is H plus, takes place in the beginning, and that is going to be considered as the slowest step. Here if I go with CH double bond CH2, this is H plus. First H plus is going to be added. H plus is an electrophile. When H plus is added here, it gives rise to CH3, CH and CH3. This is with a positive charge. Now this particular species is called as carbocation. It is carbocation. Then nature of the particular compound depends upon the stability of carbocation. So here rate of reaction is directly proportional to stability of carbocation. You know already I said about stability of carbocation. Generally common compounds, 3° carbocation is more stable when compared to 2°. 2° is more stable when compared to 1° carbocation. So wherever there is a formation of 3° carbocation, usually that compound is going to be more reactive in nature. So in this reaction, addition of H plus or electrophile takes place. So this is going to be taking place according to electrophilic addition reaction. Now in some examples, in some cases, this reaction does not, Marconi capsule does not explain about the formation of that particular compound. If I take one simple example, this is CH3. This is CH double bond CH2. It is one compound, 3-methyl butadiene is going to be there. When it is treated with HBr or HCl, it makes no difference. So what is the compound? CH3, CH, this is CH3. Next one CH, next one CH3, next one it is going to be bromine. If you are predicting this particular compound, this one, it is going to be what? Incorrect. It is not the correct product. Why it is not the correct product? See, CH3, this is CH double bond CH2. As I mentioned, first addition of H plus takes place. Addition of H plus takes place means CH3, CH, CH3, right? CH, this is going to be CH3 and this carbon atom carries positive charge. In case of this type of compounds, directly here I have added Br, that is Br minus adds to this carbon atom carrying positive charge, but this product is going to be incorrect. Why it is going to be incorrect? Here in case of this one of the hydrogen atom is present here. What's the type of carbocation? It is secondary carbocation, 2° carbocation. But there is a possibility of conversion of 2° carbocation into 3° carbocation. Wherever such type of possibility is going to be there, by the shift of hydride ion, methyl ion, CH3, phenyl ion, wherever the particular shift of this particular groups takes place, to convert primary into secondary or secondary into corresponding tertiary, there is a possibility. Now carbon hydrogen covalent bond is present. Now this hydrogen pulls the electron toward itself and it is going to be left as H minus, and that H minus will be shifted over this carbon atom. When H minus, that is commonly called as hydride shift. It is not hydrogen shift. Remember, it is hydride shift. Hydride means it is going to be H minus. Just very similar to chloride, bromide, iodide, like that. Any compound ends with Id is going to be carrying negative charge. It is not H plus, it is H minus. When H minus is going to be added to this particular CH group, what is the product here? This is going to be CH3. Here it is CH2. Next one is going to be CH3. This carbon atom bears positive charge. Now it is considered as 3° carbocation. Since 3° carbocation is more stable when compared to 2° carbocation, hence this particular hydride shift takes place. First we have added the corresponding H plus. Now the remaining Br minus is going to be added over the carbocation. So the product is very clear. CH2, CH3, this is Br and this one is going to be CH3. What is the name of this product? It is 2-bromo 2-methyl butane. It's not about this particular product. So one thing you have to remember, in case of this particular reaction, rearrangement is possible. Wherever there is a possibility of rearrangement. What is the meaning of rearrangement? Rearrangement in the sense there is a possibility of conversion of primary into secondary, secondary into corresponding tertiary carbocation. That particular arrangement is commonly called as rearrangement. Wherever the rearrangement, Rearrangement, remember, rearrangement is going to be taking place wherever there is a formation of carbocation. Since stability of carbocation is going to be followed here, because of that reason rearrangement is going to be possible in some of the compounds. Wherever such type of rearrangement is possible, you have to go according to this particular rearrangement due to the stability of carbocations. Now after this particular preparation of haloalkane from the simple alkenes, in accordance with the Markovnikov's rule, suppose if I start the particular compound CH3 CH double bond CH2 plus this is HBr in presence of peroxide, very important, in presence of peroxide, the product is, this is CH2, next one CH2, next one CH2. The earlier product in absence of peroxide was a 2-bromopropane, but in presence of peroxide is going to be 1-bromopropane. This is commonly known as peroxide effect. It is known as peroxide effect, or it is also known as Harash effect. It is known as Harash effect. It is also known as anti-Markovnikov's rule. It goes against to Markovnikov's rule, so it follows anti-Markovnikov's rule. So this is possible in presence of peroxide. Usually we go with benzoyl peroxide. It's not benzyl, it is benzoyl peroxide. Benzoyl peroxide, it is a molecule, this is C double bond O, this is O, it is C double bond O. So this is the molecule of benzoyl peroxide. In molecular formula C6H5, this is CO, this is twice, this is going to be O. So this is COO, CO. This compound is commonly called as benzoyl peroxide. In presence of benzoyl peroxide, it goes according to, it goes in accordance with the free radical mechanism. So formation of 1-bromopropane takes place. It is not found to be 2-bromopropane. Another important point to remember in case of peroxide, it is applicable only for HBr, for HCl or for HCHI. This particular peroxide effect is not applicable. It is applicable only in case of corresponding HBr molecule. It is not at all applicable for HCl. Even this one also we have discussed already in class 11. Suppose if I go with one particular product, one reaction, this is the particular substance. When this is, the molecule is treated with HBr, hydrogen bromide. What is the product possible in case of this one? Bromine is going to be added to the carbon atom having less number of hydrogen atoms. So the product possible in case of this reaction is going to be, this is methyl group. Here Br adds to this carbon atom. This is the corresponding Br group. So it is 1-bromo 1-methyl cyclohexane compound. So it is an cycloalkene compound, cyclohexene, which converts into an cyclohexane compound. Alkenes are converted into respective alkanes. So this is one of the simple reactions. Suppose when the same reaction is going to be carried out in presence of peroxide, product is going to be different. So I'll mention about some of the examples here. How to get different type of product with a different reagents. See, one simple example. If I start with this is the molecule, okay, its cyclopentene compound is going to be there. It is cyclopentene. Methyl cyclopentene is there. When it is treated with HBr, okay, this is treated with HBr, but in presence of peroxide. When it is treated with HCl, this is treated with HCl in presence of peroxide. When this is treated with another one reagent, you can take HI. What is the nature of the product in case of these 4 reactions, these 5 reactions? First, in case of HBr, very simple compound which is very similar to this previous reaction. This is methyl and this is going to be brom. It is going to be taking place according to Markovnikov's rule. And here peroxide effect is going to be there. Peroxide effect means it goes anti-Markovnikov's rule. This is Br compound and double bond is going to be removed out. HCl already have mentioned in case of HCl peroxide effect is not applicable. This is the methyl group and here it is going to be corresponding Cl and here it is also going to be the same product, no difference in the product in case of this one. This one and this one is going to be same, whether it is in presence of peroxide or in absence of peroxide, product is going to be same. It matters only with respect to what HBr compound, not with HCl or even in case of HI. HI is also going to be almost same when compared to this particular chlorine derivative. So you have to concentrate whether the particular reaction is going to be carried out in presence of peroxide or in absence of peroxide, or whether it is HBr or a corresponding HCl or it is going to be HI. Only after a clean observation you can decide about the nature of the product very easily in examinations. Another one substitution that is commonly called as allylic substitution. Allylic substitution reaction. What is the meaning of allylic substitution reaction? This is also preparation of halogen derivatives from the alkene compound itself. So this is one particular compound CH2 double bond CH, this is going to be CH. A propene compound is there. When propene compound is treated with chlorine, propene is going to be treated with chlorine in presence of heat. What happens here? Chlorine atom attacks, usually chlorine atoms, as you will be believing, it attacks either this carbon atom or this carbon atom, but actually this reaction takes place on allylic substitution. The compound obtained is going to be this one, double bond is going to be maintained as it is. The particular carbon atom which is sp3 hybridized, from that one elimination of hydrogen takes place and chlorine is going to be substituted. Such type of reaction is called as allylic substitution. And same allylic substitution is also going to be possible in presence of one more reagent that is commonly known as NBS. What is NBS? It is N-bromosuccinamide. N-bromosuccinamide. In presence of this particular reagent at 773 Kelvin, when any particular alkene is treated with N-bromosuccinamide at 773 Kelvin, same type of allylic substitution takes place. One more reagent that is going to be SO2Cl2. SO2Cl2 is going to be called as sulfuryl chloride. In presence of sulfuryl chloride, also same type of allylic substitution takes place. Suppose N-bromosuccinamide structure you can find out. This is CH2, this is CH2, next one COO, this is going to be CO, and this is N and this is going to be Br. Actually, it's a derivative of succinic acid, so this particular structure is commonly called as N-bromosuccinamide. In presence of N-bromosuccinamide, allylic substitution takes place. So, when any particular halogen is going to be treated with a temperature of around 400 to 500 degrees Celsius, and when any alkene is treated with either this particular NBS or alkene is going to be treated with SO2Cl2, here derivative is going to be, the product is going to be containing chlorine atom, here product is going to be containing what? Bromine atom. Or you can add any particular halogen at this temperature, same type of allylic substitution also takes place. So students, these are the some methods of preparations of haloalkanes from alkenes as well as previously that was alkanes. So by using these alkenes as well as alkanes, it is possible to prepare number of haloalkane compounds. And third one, a very important method of preparation, that is from alcohols. Very common method and important method also, how to prepare these particular haloalkane compound from alcohols. Alcohols are converted into corresponding haloalkanes by using different types of reagents. And first method here, this is by using, in this one, by using HX. HX refers to, it may be HCl or HBr or it may be HI also. When those reagents are going to be used, then reaction is going to be taking place. So rate of the corresponding reaction is HCl is more than HBr, which is more than HI. Then rate of reaction with respect to alcohols. Rate of reaction of alcohols. Which alcohol is going to be more reactive in nature? tertiary is more reactive than secondary, secondary is more reactive than primary alcohols. I'll give some of the example for this reactivity order and in case of hydrogen halides also. First one, by using HX is going to be there. This is ROH. OH indicates an alcoholic functional group. It's an alcohol molecule. When this is treated with HX, hydrogen halide, in presence of anhydrous zinc chloride, ZnCl2. Anhydrous zinc chloride is going to be one of the reagents which has ability to remove this particular OH group. Are in presence of concentrated sulfuric acid. Anyone, either zinc chloride, anhydrous zinc chloride or concentrated sulfuric acid, here substitution reaction takes place. Rx plus, this is going to be what? H2O. And here this one acts as an Lewis acid. Lewis acid. You know what is the meaning of Lewis acid, Lewis base? In equilibrium topic we have studied about all these Lewis acids, base, Arrhenius acid, base, Bronsted acid and corresponding base. Any particular substance which accepts one or more lone pair of electrons is called as Lewis acid. Metal ions are generally considered as Lewis acids except the first group metal ions. Lewis base means the particular species which donates lone pair of electrons. So here you can accept the corresponding lone pair of electron from this oxygen atom. Because of that reason, this particular group is going to be considered as a Lewis acid. Either by using zinc chloride or by using concentrated sulfuric acid, it is possible to get this particular compound. Suppose if I take some of the compound CH3, CH2OH, when this is treated with an hydrogen halide HX. Next one CH3, this is CH, next one CH3, this is OH, and this is HX. Okay. Next one, this is in presence of anhydrous ZnCl2. This is also in presence of anhydrous zinc chloride. So what is the observation in case of those reactions? Whether we get different types of product, and one more alcohol I will consider here, CH3, this is CH3, this is going to be OH. When this is treated with HX plus HX in presence of anhydrous ZnCl2. So remember this one, it is first one, this is second reaction, and this is what? Third reaction. This is an example of primary alcohol, it is an example for secondary alcohol. Yesterday itself I mentioned very clear primary, secondary. Instead of halogenatum, here OH is present, so it is called as primary alcohol. Here also instead of chlorine, bromine, iodine, there is a presence of OH, secondary alcohol. Naturally, OH is present and tertiary carbonatum, so it is called as tertiary alcohol. So here, no doubt the product is going to be CH3, this is CH2 and X plus H2O as usual. And here this one is going to be CH3, this is CH, this one is going to be what? X plus here it is going to be H2O. And another one, CH3, this is carbon, CH3, and this is X plus H2O. Now this is compound obtained is going to be primary alkyl halide, it is secondary alkyl halide, it is going to be tertiary alkyl halide. But question is, out of these three reactions, first, second and corresponding third one, which reaction takes place at a faster rate? Already I mentioned rate of reaction depends upon the nature of alcohol. Here it does not depend upon the HX because we have considered the same hydrogen halide. It only depends upon the type of the alcohol. It's primary, it's secondary, and it's going to be tertiary. So the rate of corresponding reaction is third one is going to be highly reactive compared to second one is highly reactive compared to first one. So here when the same hydrogen halide is added to three different types of alcohol, in one test tube you have taken only ethanol, in second test tube you have taken isopropyl alcohol, in third test tube you have taken tertiary butyl alcohol. Here formation of turbidity takes place immediately, instantaneously. Immediately white turbidity is going to be appears in case of this one. White turbidity is going to be obtained very instantly. Here white turbidity is going to be obtained after 5 to 10 minutes. After 5 to 10 minutes. There it is going to be obtained instantaneously. It is after 5 to 10 minutes. Here in case of this one, no turbidity is generally produced. When there is no turbidity is going to be obtained, naturally the reaction is going to be taking place very slowly, and when turbidity is going to be obtained very immediately, it is said to be the reaction takes place at a higher rate. And this particular reagent, it is a mixture of HCl plus anhydrous zinc chloride, is commonly called as Lucas reagent. Once again, we come across this particular reagent in distinguishing test between alcohols, in the topic of alcohols. And here mixture of HCl and zinc chloride, anhydrous zinc chloride, is commonly called as Lucas reagent. So if asked what is the use of, what is the function of Lucas reagent, now you can identify what is the use of Lucas reagent. Lucas reagent is used to distinguish between primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. You have taken three different test tubes. In first test tube primary, second test tube secondary, third test tube tertiary alcohol is going to be added. In which particular test tube reaction takes place very fast? In that particular test tube reaction takes place very fast where there is a presence of tertiary alcohol. So order of reactivity of alcohol, order of reactivity depends upon the nature of the corresponding alcohols. Suppose if you take different types of hydrogen halides, already I mentioned that one also, hydrogen chloride is going to be more reactive when compared to hydrogen bromide, which is more reactive when compared to corresponding hydrogen iodide. So this is one of the method for the preparation of this particular halogen derivatives from the alcohols. Now here ROH plus HBr, we can add HBr. When we are adding HCl, in case of first I will go with HCl because in general examples I took only HX. If it HCl, it is going to be anhydrous zinc chloride. It is RCl plus this is going to be H2O. When the particular alcohol, same alcohol is going to be treated with HBr, here concentrated sulfuric acid should be added, and this particular reaction mixture is going to be reflux, and here it gives rise to RBr plus H2. And same manner ROH plus this is going to be HI, here also concentrated sulfuric acid, and if it is reflux reactivity is going to be less, and here the compound is going to be alkyl iodide plus water, but the yield of the corresponding product is going to be generally less when compared to the yield of corresponding alkyl chloride. So this is the method of preparation of haloalkane from alcohols by using what? Only hydrogen halides. In this one, remember anhydrous zinc chloride is going to be acting as a Lewis acid. Next one, another particular method for preparation of these particular haloalkanes from alcohol itself, but by using different reagent. First reagent, which one we have used? In the first, we have used about HX. By using HX, I'll go with the B. This is by using SOCl2. What is the name of SOCl2? One of the compounds just previously I mentioned about that one. It is SO2Cl2. What was the name of this compound? It is going to be called as sulfuryl chloride. This is sulfuryl chloride. What's the name of this compound? This compound is called as thionyl chloride. It is known as thionyl chloride. And this particular reaction is commonly known as Dargen's reaction. Most important reaction, especially for board. Dargen's reaction. In this particular reaction, when an alcohol ROH plus SOCl2 thionyl chloride in presence of pyridine, the structure of pyridine is going to be this one, nitrogenous base. So nitrogen contains lone pair of electrons, so naturally it acts as a Lewis base. What is the role of this particular pyridine? Pyridine helps in the elimination of some of the acidic compound. Here the compound obtained is going to be RCl plus SO2 plus this is going to be HCl. SO2 is a gaseous product, HCl is also a gaseous product. When these two complete products are eliminated as gases very conveniently, so this is one of the best method for the preparation of haloalkane from the alcohols. That is commonly known as what? Dargen's reaction. What's the role of pyridine in this reaction? Role of pyridine in this reaction is to eliminate the acidic compound, that is HCl and SO2. No doubt they are going to be eliminated as gases, but for the easy elimination we are going to be adding this particular pyridine. It is a nitrogenous base. Suppose one simple example, CH3CH2OH. plus this is treated with SOCl2. SOCl2 in presence of pyridine, the compound obtained is CH3, this is CH2, this is Cl plus, again it is going to be HCl plus, it is HO2. When the particular byproducts are going to be eliminated as gaseous products, so purification of the compound, separation of the compound is going to be an easy process. For that reason, this Darjan's reaction or Darjan's method of preparation of alkyl halide is going to be a convenient method of preparation of haloalkane from the respective alcohols. Don't get confused with this compound and this compound, SO2, Cl2 and SOCl2. Structure of SOCl2 is double bond O Cl and this is Cl, SOCl2. Structure of SO2 Cl2 is double bond O Cl and this is going to be Cl. Where it was used, this one is going to be used in case of allylic substitution. Just I mentioned about this one, allylic substitution reaction, and this SOCl2 is going to be used in case of preparation of haloalkane from the respective alcohol compounds. And next one, the third one method for the preparation of haloalkane from the same alcohols. Remember, from alcohols we are using HX, using SOCl2, that is Darjan's reaction. Next one, third one, by using PX5 or PX3. What's the meaning of PX5 or PX3? PX5 and PX3 are found to be phosphorus pentahalides or phosphorus trihalides. You know the geometry of phosphorus trihalide as well as phosphorus trihalide as well as pentahalide compound. Trihalide, this one is going to be P, it is X, this is X, this is going to be X, it is containing lone pair of electron. PX5, this is phosphorus and this is going to be X, this is X, this is X. One is above the plane, next one is below the plane. So this is the structure of PX5 compound. So how to prepare these particular halogen compounds from the alcohols by using PX5 or PX3? Phosphorus pentahalide and phosphorus trihalide. Pentahalide as well as trihalide. Here this is ROH. It is ROH alcohol. When it is treated with PCl5. PX5 means PCl5. Just I will mention about that particular example. Here it gets converted into RCl, alkyl chloride, plus it is going to be POCl3 plus this is going to be HCl. Check whether reaction is going to be balanced or not. 5 chlorine atoms, 1 plus 3 plus 1, 5. Oxygen, only one oxygen atom, only one oxygen atom. Hydrogen, it is going to be hydrogen. It is called as phosphorus oxychloride. This is the common product whenever PCl5 is going to be used. Wherever in any reaction PCl5 is going to be used, usually there is a formation of POCl3. The name of POCl3 is going to be phosphorus oxychloride. And you can mention about an example. This is PCl5. Where this reaction is going to be taking place, CH3, this is CH2, it is Cl. Next POCl3, okay, plus HCl, it is chloroethane compound, POCl3 plus HCl. Another particular reagent that is going to be PX3 can also be used, ROH plus this is PX3, ROH plus PX3. In case of this PX3 molecule, this is RX, same alkyl halide as in case of previous alkyl halide PX3. When PX3 is going to be treated with ROH, first RX plus, there is a formation of H3PO3, that is phosphorus acid. To get this particular H3PO3, this is 3 moles of ROH, it is 3 moles of corresponding RX. You can identify 3 halogen atoms are there, 3 halogen atom, 3 alkyl groups, 3 alkyl groups, 3 oxygen atom, 3 oxygen atom, 3 hydrogen, 3 hydrogen. Now this is commonly the phosphorus acid. One example, CH3OH plus, you can take PCl3, this is converted into CH3, next one it is Cl plus H3PO3. What about when the PBr5 or PI5, whether the reaction takes place or not? This reaction does not take place because these compounds are unstable compounds. Hence, it is necessary to use only PCl5 instead of this particular PbR5, phosphorus pentabromide and phosphorus pentaiodide. It is mainly because of larger bromine and corresponding iodine atom. These are found to be unstable compounds. Hence, PCl5 should be commonly used in this reaction. Now, what is the particular product? PCl5, it is in gas. This is PCl5, it is in case of solid state. What is the nature of the product in case of these reactions? Concentrate, same alcohol is going to be taken, same PCl5 is also taken. When PCl5 is going to be taken in case of gaseous state and PCl5 is taken in case of solid state, whether the nature of the product is going to be same or different, that you need to identify. Remember, in solid state PCl5 exists as PCl4 and PCl6 minus, PCl4 plus and PCl6 minus. With the help of this particular composition of PCl5 in solid state, you have to identify the nature of the product in case of this particular reaction. So, students, tomorrow we will continue this particular class by with the help of this corresponding reaction, whether the product is going to be different or product is going to be same. When same PCl5 is going to be taken, only difference is going to be it is in the gaseous state, it is going to be in case of solid state. So keep watching the live videos of SBR online classes for your continuity. So when you are able to watch the classes continuously, regularly, then you can understand the concept. Suppose if you miss one class, live class, you can observe that one again afterwards, but it is better to observe the live classes. And students, whenever any type of doubts are going to be there, already they have made another platform to raise your doubts, and feel free to raise the doubts related to this particular topic or related to any particular topic of chemistry. Okay, thank you. Tomorrow we will continue. Just press ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ
ಓಕೆ.